Hello, this is Shiva Pizabi, and I'm gonna be analyzing Black Swan, directed by Darren Aronofsky in 2010. I'm gonna be giving you a summary of the story, and then I'm gonna starting to give you a frame by frame analysis of one specific scene, and it gonna follows with some other scenes that gonna complete the scene. Black Swan is about a ballerina called Nina whom lives with her mom in New York City and works in New York City Ballet Company. The story begins when the director Thomas announced a position of the next Queen Swan Swan role in the Swan Lake show, and this starts a season of trauma in Nina's life as she tries to reach the position. So I choose the ending scene, which Nina is in her mania state, and she comes back from dancing the White Swan to change her makeup and her dress, and suddenly she sees her competitor Lily sitting on her place, and then we have a close up of Nina's face, but we have a close up of Lily's reflection in the mirror. Mirror in this movie is really a big symbol because of her mental state. I feel mirror is just when like we see stuff in the mirror when she's having a hallucination or a psychotic episode. And in this specific scene we can see that maybe Lily is not real, and that's why we have a close up of her face in the mirror, and it's just a reflection. Then we see Nina attacking Lily. At that point, when Nina attacks Lily, we have a low angle of her face, close up, extreme close up, and then we have extreme close up Lily's face as but in a high angle. Like we have a high angle of Lily's face and then we have a low angle of Nina's face. But in this fight, we see the camera doesn't move. We have just editing, like it stops and then we go on Lily's face and then we go to Nina's face, which shows the confusion of that moment. But suddenly we see that Nina sees Lily, her face, like she sees herself, and she thinks that she's fighting herself. And till the mirror breaks and they fall on the floor, and that breaking the mirror scene, in my opinion, I think that scene shows that she confuses her mental state, her schizophrenia, with the real life. So at that point, her psychotic episodes are melting into her real life. And then we see Lily stabbing Nina, and then she dies, and when she dies we see that Nina looking at her and she realizes that this was actually Lily, and she was thinking that it was her, but then she thought, then when she dies she sees that it was Lily. So she tries to cover her up, and that's about that. The thing that is really important is that in these scenes I don't see any crazy camera movement. We are just specifically focusing on the characters, and it's really close up. I understand why this is happening because it's about a mental issue, and we're just focusing on the facial expression of characters' reactions. But the thing is that that I wanted to mention is the next scene of this scene that we just saw and explained, which is the dancing scenes. They're really important because in these scenes we see Nina in the craziest state of her mind, and I'm gonna start with the scene of her dancing as the black swan, and then I'm gonna explain the white swan because they're really important and they're really related to the scene that I'm just explaining. As she starts to go to the maniac state of her mind, we see her. She went and she danced for Black Swan, and in this scene, the important thing is that we see her really extreme close up, but in this scene, we see a long shot. We see a full size of her look uh, dancing. Like the sizes are really big. However, till now, the sizes were really small and we were really extreme into her face. And I see the angle is turning. The angle is not like we are seeing eye to eye. It's like we are seeing above. Should be seeing above her, and it's like a high angle. It's not extreme high angle. It's just a bit higher than her. We see how she moves. She moves really sharp, and the scenes are really strong, and the camera is moving with her. Like this, this is really important because we have like a frontal view of her as she comes to dance, and the camera is not still. It's a bit shaking, and I think that's a part that uh, we can feel how she feels, how distracted and how confused in her mind she is, and how uh, this is affecting her. And then we have the white swan dance, and in the white swan dance we see that she is really slow. She's like not not as sharp as she was before. We have like a low angle of her shoes as she dance. um, she's dancing really delicately, and she moves slow as it seems she feels the music, and that's the difference. And we can see two people like in these two scenes, like two different scenes. As she dances a black swan and then as she dances a white swan, we see two people. This is really important because before this scene happens, as she went back to change her clothes for the white swan, we see that she was stabbed herself, and she was having an episode at that moment, like the first scene that I just explained. It's This is when she realized that she's over, and then she's danced really nice, and the camera is just following her. Like the camera is tracking her all the way. She dances and she goes to the top and she falls and all of that. So about the cuts and editing, I'm gonna say the cut that the fighting in the fighting scene, we see that it's a match cut. As we see suddenly Lily, and then we see her Nina's face as she's fighting herself or fighting Lily. We don't know. That's the match cut. Editing also, the other cuts are really simple. We just simple cut. It's a straight cut to the next scene, and we don't fade out. That's about it. Thank you.